Thank you for joining us, and welcome to the Northern BC Gamer. We're a group of gamers doing a playthrough of Paizo's Starfinder Adventure Path Drift Crashers. Tonight's episode picks up moments after we last left the Drifters in the aftermath of a miraculous, uncontrolled trip through the plains as their ship, the Murata, and the pirate vessel Primordial merged when each ship activated their respective forms of travel while tethered together. While their trip saved both ships from being destroyed by a coronal mass ejection, they both traveled through the plains to find themselves crashing, heavens know where, with a ship full of pirates. First order of business is to apologize for the fact that there is no recording of episode 1 due to technical difficulties and my fumbling towards competency at recording. There was no audio recording of any of the players, so you'd have gotten a lot of me chatting and then a lot of silence. So we're just going to give a brief recap at the beginning and move on from there. Any questions or comments made on the video will be read and, if time permits, responded to. If you enjoy this kind of content, please give the videos a like and subscribe to the channel to continue following the adventures of the Drifters. That done, it's almost time to dive into tonight's session. But before we begin, we'll introduce ourselves. My name is Darren Weston, and I'm the game master for this motley crew. And around our table, we have the Drifters. Playing Crumb, the fire orange skittermander, audio lighting and pyrotechnician, we have the other Darren.
Hello, everybody. I'm playing Crumb.
Next, in the role of the famous halfling drummer Damien Flair Fasthands, is Todd.
Hello, everybody. My name's Todd. I'm excited to be playing Damien and a little hothead halfling. Let's go.
As the band's human songwriter and vocalist, Strage and Jankowitz, we have Zane.
Hello.
Shredding it up on lead guitar as the Kyle Umbra, Don't Bet Against Catherine.
Good evening, everyone.
And today we're missing our fifth player, JJ, who wasn't able to make it this evening due to other obligations. So for now, we will jump straight into the action. Security log, Serenith 26, 323 AG. My old pal Crumb, that crusty skittermanner, he managed to drift us out just in time to a destroyed destruction. Problem is, not sure if the situation we've ended up in looks any better than being incinerated. Guess we'll see. I should start at the beginning. See, we've been buddies and band for Grizz, the Raptile Curlix, going on 3 albums now. So when we finished writing the new album, we jumped on board. He must have got some new investor because the Obulus Starry yacht he scored us has us riding in style. Had us rising in style. Had. So we drifted from a Vesk 6 about a week back. Blast of a trip, jamming, rocking out, planning the tour. Best trip ever. It was the drop out of the drift that started the problems. See, the Packed World Sun had let out a massive CME about 9 minutes before we drifted in. Yeah, we figured it'd be easy. Just drift back out, right? We had a minute and a half. Wrong. That's when the pirates showed up. Yeah, pirates. Tethered us, swarmed aboard, split themselves between the bridge and engineering. The boss, Achilles, and Crumb, they held engineering with Rick and Bob. Meanwhile, Umbra and I covered half the band on the bridge while their first officer breached with a pair of her berserkers. The struggle was real. But aside from Blue and the boss's new investor, the others held it together. I mean, Ed kept us coordinated. Flair's quick thinking at the controls kept the pirates off balance when he cut the inertial dampeners and rocked the boat. Umbra and I laid into them until the reptile took the bridge. Damn if things aren't lit when he steps up. We were skirting close to time as a pirate captain, the Primordial, threw caution of the wind and activated his chaos sails. Tried to skip out before the blast wave hit. Well, turns out Crumb had the same idea. Kicked in the drift engine. Tethers be damned. I have no idea what happened next, but I do know chaos ruled the day. The best Nephia can figure, the chaos signal or sails and the drift engine fracked each other up. What caused the ships to merge, that's beyond us. And the drift? Well, the last readings we had were pretty unsettling. But that might have been a factor of our ship breaching a dozen or so planar barriers before coming out over some barren hellscape of a planet. And the scene switches to the bridge. A very different bridge than the players last left. The blue-skinned Phantomite pirate Captain Cobalt grins exuberantly down at the reptile and the drifters from where he stands at the captain's chair on the upper level of the bridge, surrounded by a trio of pirates. "Brace for impact!" he shouts as the emerged ship plunges through the plains, tearing through a multitude of planar barriers before careening into a rocky slope. The ship gives a great metallic shriek of protest as she comes to a rough stop. Through the ship's translucent green canopy, a barren plain extends under a dark, scorched sky as far as the eye can see. Scattered around the bow of your ship lay twisted beams and torn shards of metal, the remains of some former structure, obviously destroyed in the crash. Bring up your folks' map. Hopefully that pulled it up for you.
Got it.
Right. And at the moment, if you scroll down the map a little bit, you will find people on the bridge in the middle section of the map. The section above it is the upper section of the bridge where Cobalt and his pirates stand looking down at you. The pirate captain grins down from where he's standing, one hand on the back of one of the command chairs on the bridge at the top. Looks out through the canopy, then back down at you folks, leans in a little bit, and says, "It seems we have a conundrum. Two captains, one ship." His hand strays down to the hilt of the saber he carries at his waist. He looks down, says, Who's in charge?
Who made you
Obviously
captain?
not you. I didn't
He
vote
lets
for him.
out a full-bellied laugh, nudges the pirate to his right, who edges over towards the top of the stairs, and then gives a nod to the fellow to his left, who mimics the maneuver. And both looking to head down the stairs towards the lower bridge deck where you guys are. Monacida, lass! You and your lads get up. No being lazy. At which point, the 3 unconscious pirates that you guys had knocked out last encounter slowly start climbing to their feet, still wounded, but conscious. Monacida slowly backs up the stairs a little bit. Says, "Be careful. They've got a witch with them."
Who are you calling a witch, lady?
Do I still get a hold of their engineer? I remember ending when I was still standing on top of him.
Yes, you guys are still in engineering, you and JJ, and we'll get to you guys momentarily. Yeah, the pirate standing up with Cobalt shifts into the other seat. And another woman she's dressed in pirate garb, but she doesn't have any weaponry on her. Human. She's kind of eyeing the area, looking down at the group of you. Cobalt steps forward between the chairs to lean down. You can see on the top of the bridge above his head, kind of looking down, as it were, on the lower part of the bridge is what looks like a very steampunkish looking jazzy sex whistle. He's got a super fancy looking saxophone mounted up on a plaque, I guess, kind of thing, a mounting for it. And he leans down and looks at the group of you. Says, "So what's it to be?"
Well, obviously I'm qualified to be a captain, so I guess I'll take the job.
I didn't vote for either one of you.
He squints down past Umbra. Says, "I'm sorry. Is that an 8-year-old talking down there?" "You want the job, lad. You gotta take it." And his saber edges an inch out of its scabbard.
Listen, supreme executive power derives from a mandate from the masses, not from combat.
He looks at the woman next to him. Says, "You hear that, Navra? Starting to sound like you." We'll teach 'em. Mandate from the masses, you say? And he wanders over towards the stair, shoves his man out of the way, starts working his way down. A definite swagger in his step. Yeah, the reptile steps up a couple of steps. This here's my ship. Strange as it looks. And he stops and he looks around a little bit. It's actually, guys, did somebody redecorate?
Something like that.
This wasn't what I bought. Who took my ship? The captain, pirate captain, starts laughing.
You're
We
off,
see.
bro.
The drift appears to have merged two ships. Some weird thing happening. So I guess this is our ship now. And these guys gotta go.
Well, if you think you can make us.
Well, I mean, I'm asking you guys nicely to leave.
You hear that, Monacida? He gives her an elbow in the ribs as she winces as he moves past her on the stairs down in front of the reptile. Sizes him up a little bit. He taps an earpiece. Zev, have you got control of that engine room yet? And Crumb, you hear that over the comm unit on the pirate's uniform. The fellow that you have pinned down to the floor. While Bob's keeping an eye on him at the moment, you were firing up the engines. And for you guys in the engine room, the trip through the plains wasn't quite so spectacular. The biggest change was very shortly after you fired up the drift engines, when there was a bright, multicolored, swirling flash of light that seemed to just kind of overwhelm all of your senses, just for a few moments. And when your vision came back and you could kind of maintain your balance again, the drift engine was gone and seems to have been replaced by a orb hovering above a little pedestal, surrounded by 3 interconnected rings that are swirling around it. Or at least they were. For, a good minute or two as you guys were traveling through the plains. And then everything lurched and stopped. You guys got knocked to the floor. And when you came to, the rings had stopped swirling around the orb. And the room is lit by this swirling purplish, pinkish, bluish light that seems to be a leftover of the energy the engine was throwing off while it was working. but everything seems to be starting to power down. The lights are starting to flicker and dim. The computers are glitching at the moment, and everything just seems to be shutting down. Achilles is getting to his feet by the door, keeping an eye on the unconscious pirate. Rick is looking at a couple of the consoles on the other side of the room. Says, dude, she ain't working.
I asked the engineer on to get up as I cling to his back with a backpack, still holding the knife to his neck.
He nods and very, very emphatically says, all right, just take the knife out, man.
Does this look at all familiar to your ship?
He looks where you're pointing, over at the engines, or the power core, or whatever it is, the orb with the rings, and he kind of squints his eyes in the dimming light and shakes his head a little bit. Says, I've never seen that. What is it? That's not a drift engine. What have you guys got in this thing?
This isn't our work either.
But it was a drift engine.
Yes,
I
it
don't know,
was.
man. What's going on? He reaches up to toggle the comm unit on his uniform. And he taps it and says, Captain, we don't have engineering. They got me, sir. There's like 6 of them. Big guys. Turns off the unit and looks at you and shrugs as he glances at you and Bob. You're the taller of the two. Bob's about half as tall as you are. He's only a foot and a half tall. And he's kind of being held up by his elf hands, his little Raxolite body kind of floating as he looks down at this guy, checks out his toolkits, says he's definitely an engineer. You sure you don't know nothing about this engine? The guy shakes his head again. Says, no. What are you doing, Crumb?
I tapped my intercom to talk to, I guess, the reptile or the captain. I relayed that we seem to be losing power here. The lights are starting to go and the control consoles are flickering.
And at that point, the lights throughout the ship go out. All of the computer consoles on the bridge go black. And the only light coming in on the bridge is the dim light coming through the canopy. The sky is heavily overcast. You would swear that there's sheet lightning racing across the sky in places, only it doesn't look like lightning, it looks like fire. In the very, very far distance, you can faintly make out a mountain rising up. And mostly that you can make out because of the dark silhouette and the bright orange streams of lava pouring down its slopes. You guys are crashed. Looks like at the bottom of a hill, and you can see twisted wreckage of looks like some kind of structure that your ship crashed into.
I presume it's mysticism to try and identify our location.
You folks may make a mysticism check.
I'll leave that to the experts. I am not mystic.
You can't see much other than the faintly dimming light of the energy the engines were throwing off. Umbra, unfortunately, you have never seen a planet like this. Same with you, Damien. You got no clue.
I will contact Nefia and, well, try to contact her.
You hit your comm.
Nefia, are you there?
A moment later, the answer comes back. Says, yes, what happened? I was thrown out of my bunk.
There was a, let's call it emergence of realities, I think. Are you okay?
I'll be all right. I'm a little disoriented, though. The room looks different.
Yeah. Our ship seemed to merge with another ship, the pirates. Speaking of, there's no pirates around you, hopefully.
No, I'm alone.
Wonderful. Do you happen to have a window to the outside? We seem to be in a unknown location.
She says, just one moment. You hear that familiar clicking sound she makes with her tongue when she's thinking and considering. Well, I would say this is no planet. If I to know better, I might suggest that we are quite possibly in one of the lower planes. Perhaps one of the Demelnic ones. Perhaps devilish? Where are you?
I'm on the bridge. With some pirates.
Said there were pirates.
Yup. Fortunately, the lights just went out, so that's all bonus to me.
Good. I'll stay here.
Yes, bolt the doors. Please stay safe.
The captain continues moving down the stairs, getting right up in the reptile's grill. Taller than the reptile at the moment because he's a stair or two above. I mean, the Pirate King's a good, solid 6.5 feet tall. He's a strong, lanky-looking fellow. And The reptile, mildly confused by the situation as he is, backs down the stairs a couple of steps, still looking a little bit uncomfortable with the whole situation. Bumps into the pirate behind him, and he turns to face the pirate, and they both kind of give a quick start because the pirate wasn't expecting to be walked into. And Cobalt looks around, says, "So, kiddo, still wanting the captain's seat?"
Do I want the captain's seat? Well, I mean, I'm very qualified. Excellent pilot. I can got some diplomacy, and obviously could do the job.
I got an idea. Why doesn't we let our guy be the captain, and you can be the first officer? We'll make one of your people an engineer, and the rest of them can be crewmen.
Strange Ed, make me a diplomacy check. And you can make me as well one too there, Damien. Cobalt looks over at you and eyes over to Strange Ed. Back down at the halfling. Looks outside. Says, "You might have an idea there, lad. I could use a good pilot."
In this situation, it looks like right now, but we could use a good pilot. However, I don't think we have engines.
Aye. But if that, and he points off in the distance, and you see a little speck towards that faraway volcano. He says, "If that's coming this way, we might want to get these engines rolling."
That is very true. That shall be the first order. Get those engines going before we crash.
Shakes his head, slaps his comm, says, "Zev, get the engines running. You're in charge." And he brushes past the reptile. And takes another step forward. He doesn't really seem to be paying as much attention to you, Umbra. Quite possibly because he's having trouble seeing you in the shadows, just like everybody else.
Indeed.
It's very dim in here. Why don't you be a good lad there, boy, and go help the lads in engineering get those engines up faster?
Oh, that's
Then
not
they'll
my
race
specialty
you
at
right
all.
back up to your favorite chair.
Well, engineering, I don't know anything about engineering. That's what the mechanics are for.
He looks at you for a long moment.
I mean, obviously, that's a waste of resources. Even a good captain would know that.
You can stay in your chair then. What's the rest of you riffraff good for? He eyes the reptile out of his peripheral vision as the pirate and the reptile continue to face off. Z is keeping an eye on the pirate on the other stairwell. And I'm going to get you guys to make me a perception check.
Who is you guys?
People on the bridge, sorry.
Ooh.
They gave me a 15.
Just waiting for Strange Ed.
You wanna...
Ed, you can see the pirate up on the upper part of the bridge. Kind of stands up from his console. And you see him kind of lean over the edge a little bit. He's got one hand on it, but you're pretty sure his other hand is reaching for a weapon. And from the look of the way he's kind of flexing his arm, he's getting ready to jump over that railing. And you can see the two pirates at the top of the stairs, both getting their hands very close to their axes on their belts. As Kobold.
Engineering, we need some help up here.
I say that the rest of you go. I can then look after this engineer. It's just us down here, right?
Zev nods, says, "I'm not going to be a problem, man. Let's get these engines going. If we can." He kind of looks at things and as if he's at a little bit of a loss as to what to do. But Achilles nods, says, "All right," and starts moving through the ruined doors of the engineering that got blown off last session. Suppose you guys could see down the hallway initially. The interior of the ship is very different than the ship you were on, Murata itself.
I asked the engineer, does the inside of this ship look at all familiar to his?
The other engineer? No. Rick follows Achilles, and Bob kind of looks at you, says, "You sure, mate? I mean, I could help keep an eye on, buddy. I'm not bad with my tools." He said, "You, Crumb?"
This guy seems pretty harmless. Doesn't look like he's caught many weapons on him.
No, he looks like he's unarmed. As a matter of fact, you checked him, and he's definitely unarmed.
I take the knife away and is it dark in here, or is this thing still being off light?
The lighting from the energy given off by the engines has finally dimmed, but you guys do have lights on your armor. That'll give you a dim light.
I also have a flare gun I could shoot just to give us a bit of a light source.
Yep. You could just pop out one of the flares and strike it up. I'll let you do that.
Yeah, I'll just throw it right here. So
Sounds good. Yeah, that lights up the majority. I mean, there's still shadows here and there, and the light's super bright where it is, but you guys get that sorted, and you start checking out engineering.
I'll start making my way over to this computer panel over here, and I'll tell this engineer to check this one here.
Yeah, he finally gets to to his feet after you hop off him, and he says, "All right, I'll see what I can do." And I will give you a perception check for me. You're striking up your flare and moving around the engines, or the weird new power core looking thing. And you get about the other side of it over here. You get over to the console. At which point you think you see movement out of the corner of your eye. Yep. Over here. So you have managed to come over here. And you see movement of some kind up here. Just briefly out of the corner of your eye. And you hear a brief shout from Bob. It is a very frightened ah! And you see him scramble up and over the engine on his little elf hands and hop down by the door. And Zev looks over, goes, "Huh? What? Ah!" And you see a weird-looking thing scramble up along the wall. Give me a good. It looks like a weird mix of gears and wires and cables all mixed in with this gaseous energy looking form, but you can see a gaping maw and a pair of eyes and a couple of hands kind of stretched out clinging to the wall as it scrabbles up the wall. And I will get you to roll initiative.
Can you delete my old character, or I can't access them?
You should be on there.
No, I can't move him.
Oh.
Yeah, we pulled out new ones.
Double check.
I pulled out a new one, so you can delete the old one.
Yep. There we go.
This one's the one I pulled out. Whoop. We moved to the same place.
What the hell is this thing? Did it come from the engine?
You may make a mysticism check.
I am a -1 in mysticism, so that's my best roll ever.
Yeah, you don't recognize the critter. You've never seen anything like it. As it kind of scrabbles up the wall and casts its gaze about the room. That up a little bit so I can see. Okay. Have to look at what it can do.
Who else is in control of this room, or are they away? Just Jade's character.
You're up here. Zev is down on the opposite console. He's kind of backing away from this thing as little tendrils of energy and cloud and whatever makes up this thing starts snaking out towards him. And Bob is over here by the doors. And this thing's tentacle stretches out towards Zev. And it smacks him back. He goes flying over here 5 feet towards this, what looks like a little magnetic elevator lift. And kind of tumbles to the floor in almost slow motion. At which point, this thing scrabbles over here in just a quick flash of movement. And that will make it your turn. What would you like to do?
I'll hop over to this chair that's right next to me. I should be small enough I can like use it for like a half cover maybe.
Yep.
I just climb onto it, swivel around so the back is facing this thing. You said gaseous, so maybe I'll try and set the thing on fire with a flare gun.
Okay.
Ooh, not a very roll.
No, you take a shot at it, and its form just kind of billows out around where the flare flies through it, slams into the wall, and it kind of recoalesces off to the side, shimmies away from where the flare is stuck into the wall, burning. And you guys start hearing Bob shouting over the comms. We got something in the engine room! I don't know what it is! Help! Help! At which point, you guys hear something slam into the doors up here. At which point, this pirate stops looking down the stairs, glances back over the doors, and you guys hear over the comms, coming back, from Achilles. And Rick screeches to a halt in the back. You're in the hallway, kind of looks between the doors towards the bridge, doors towards engineering. And this thing kind of skitters along the roof above you, probably 20 feet up. And it sends its little tentacle down towards you, Drum. And despite your cover, a 30 is going to hit.
Yeah, like my what is that, EAC?
It is against your KAC, actually.
Oh, I'm at 13, so that's like double my KC. So yeah, that's hitting.
All right. Get you to make me a. So you take 8 points of damage as that tentacle kind of slaps into you. It's a solid hit. It's like getting hit by a baseball bat.
I'm like yell like, oh shit! Okay, that hits me for all of my stamina on one shot.
And I get you to make me a will save. Alrighty, it feels like it was trying to grab something out of you. But you managed to shove yourself back from the chair just quickly enough to break contact with the tentacle itself. And it's this point that I am going to get everybody to roll initiative. As with all the screaming and shouting going on, it'll be everybody's turn to start doing something.
As that's happening, I just like yell back to Zev, I guess that's his name, just start backing out of the room. We need all the engineers we can to fix this problem.
He nods and starts creeping towards the door. Kind of pushing himself along the floor, keeping an eye on that thing, moving slowly.
At least this thing has a low initiative.
All right, and which of these tokens are yours, Umbra and Flare?
Ours are outside the ship.
Okay. So there you guys go.
Try this again.
Do I need to reset yours as well, Zane?
Oh, I can move mine apparently.
Okay. Good enough.
Well, now my character she's not talking to the new token.
Oh, does it not love you? Okay, give me a sec.
For whatever reason.
I'll connect you up. All right, it should talk to you now.
There it is.
All right. And at this point, we're going to take a 10-minute break. Let everybody stretch your legs, get a drink, do whatever you need to do, and we'll be back in 10 minutes.
Not used to playing such a squishy character as Skidamaners are.
They are a little squishy.
I have to back up, but for one more hit like that, I'll KO.
I am probably squishier.
I don't know, I think
That sounds terrifying.
Andrew start with 2 hit points.
2? Goodness gracious.
I'm at 6 HP, that's my current, and stamina's 8, which you just got knocked off me.
All right, let me roll initiative for all of these people.
Oh, yay, this person again.
She doesn't look like she's doing too well, if that makes you feel any better.
I mean, she shouldn't be. We kicked the shit out of her last time.
That you did. You guys did a solid number on her.
I unfortunately did not get the opportunity to pick up her gun like I wanted to.
As the power guy for the band, I didn't have many gun choices, so I had a flare gun. So if there was ever a pyrotechnics failure, I could just let off a few.
Pyrotechnics, I got that taken care of, no problem. I bring my own all the time.
I've still never got to use my grenade ability because that requires 10 minutes to craft it.
At the beginning of a day, you would have had those 10 minutes. So you are assumed at the moment to have 3 grenades on you, I believe it is. Or is it 4?
Yeah, you should have had, you would have had daily preparations to do that before session 1 began.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that.
And do I have to only choose grenades matching my level?
Yes.
I can't find any, like, I'm having some issues accessing compendiums, so I'm going on archives to check out grenades.
Yep. You don't have to choose what they are until you use them either, so
Okay.
just have it open on a separate window and say, hey, Darren, I want to use this grenade now.
So I had like 3 of them?
I believe so. Should be listed in your ability. I think it's 1 plus your intelligence bonus.
I have a legitimate question.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember how Pathfinder or how D&D 3rd edition did this back in the day. I'm used to use new systems. What is the shape of a burst? Is it like is a 5-foot burst the square plus the ones around it, or is it drawn from a corner?
From a corner usually.
Half a
So a
second.
5-foot burst would be 4 squares.
4 squares.
Set around
Perfect.
the intersection.
There we go.
Got it.
Thank you, sir.
So same as Pathfinder 2e. Cool.
And I'm just going to have your guys' NPCs act on your turns. Just so that I don't have to have 2 screens full of initiative.
Yes.
Do you have to like pick your NPCs like class wherever? Like mine's security chief, so I guess she's like an operative sort of thing.
Yeah, I haven't specifically chosen classes for all of them. The Mystic is a Mystic, but
Z is security, so I guess she's like a weapon that sort of thing. Just mostly guns, I guess.
yeah, I think I have her set up as a soldier. Bob is a mechanic. Rick is a mechanic. Nithya is Blue Scarab's the mystic. And the socialite is the socialite. Speaking of Blue Scarab and the socialite, as you guys realize everything is starting to pop off on the bridge and in engineering at the same time, they are nowhere to be seen. However, you can tell there is still a deck below the deck you are on because the canopy covers the entire front of the ship, and the bridge level you guys are on seems to be the center level of the bridge or of the ship, and it looks like there's another deck below you. As a matter of fact, the seating and the consoles that you guys are sitting at, there's space between the end of the consoles and the front of the canopy. So if you really wanted to, you could leap over the consoles and end up on the lower deck.
Interesting.
Well, at least this new monster has the lowest initiative of them all. We could see what sticks for damage-wise.
Yep.
Is that a mic arm being adjusted? Or what is that?
Probably just somebody's mic. All right. And that is our 10-minute break. Welcome back, everybody.
Never left.
We have action underway as shouting starts breaking out down in engineering, and messages start coming through the comms, and the door at the top of the bridge got slammed into because that's where Achilles was going and had to stop at the last minute and turn around. So this pirate up here pulls out a laser pistol and takes a step down the stairs beside Montecita. The reptile takes a very quick shot at the pirate that you guys have already knocked out once. Puts just a little bit of effort into it. And that will be a solid hit. That will knock that pirate right back out. And he goes down like a sack of potatoes. He just drops. Which one is he? So I just take him off the initiative order now. All right. That will bring us to Montecita on the stairs. She continues up the stairs, gets to the top because she's already injured, and gets to the top. She's going to take a quick look down from the bridge to see who she wants to pick on, and let's see if she can figure out where that dang witch warper went. Takes her a moment, but you see her eyes alight on you, Umbra, and she glares, and you see her pull a bunch of magic together. The energy starting to swirl over her hands into a pair of glowing orbs that streak out towards you. Skip past the chair and the intervening space, and they both slam into you solidly. First one doing 3 points damage. Second one doing 4 points damage.
Oh.
And she expends the last of her powerful magic. She's mostly left with cantrips now. That was her turn. Achilles races back down the hall, leaps over the teeny tiny little Raxolite, lands kind of precariously on one of the rings, and brings the pistol up that he had in his hand and takes a shot at the critter up on the wall. And misses. Yeah, he shoots wide. Crumb. The action flows to the Skittermander. Still on the console chair. A little bit of cover between you and the thing.
See, this thing's not offering me much defense, so I'll take a hop off to just a step back here. And I'll pull a grenade off of my belt. I added a grenade onto my attacks tab, I guess. Do I just need to roll the specified damage grenade? I'll make a shock grenade, mark 1.
Shock? Okay.
So that's a 1d8 roll? Or do I just throw the grenade and see if it hits first?
You still have to roll to hit.
What? -2.
Take a look.
Do I have to set up the proficiency or?
Go to the attack, and there will be a little tab in the top right for set the proficiency to proficient. But for now, we'll just look forward to that roll.
Okay, I'll just
Your
I'll read.
grenade flies. Thank you, Todd. Your grenade flies up, bounces off the wall, rattles around behind the engine core, before it detonates.
The shock grenade
There
detonates on
is-
impact, it says. Shock grenades detonate right on impact, it says, or.
Yeah.
I tried to throw it toward the bulkhead right next to this thing.
Yeah, unfortunately, with a roll of only 2, you wouldn't have hit the square you were looking for. Which is sad, because you only need a 5. Level 1, we love thee. Your grenade ends up behind the power core. It goes off, and you can see electrical surges arcing up along the wall and between the rings and the orb, and they shift just a little bit, and then the electric charge goes away, and they grind to a halt again.
Well, not what I intended, but that's an interesting reaction.
If we get some power to him, Maybe we can get 'em going. What do you think they'll do?
Does anyone have any spare batteries?
I have a battery.
Meanwhile, back on the bridge, this pirate pulls a pistol, the one up by the doors that Achilles had slammed into, and he's kind of looking down the stairs because he's got another buddy at the bottom of the stairs. He's kind of keeping an eye on, but he's keeping his laser trained on these doors, just to his right, in case something decides to come through him. And that brings us to Flair in the pilot's chair.
That's right. Flair is going to cast an electric light show on the pirate at the bottom of the stairs, the one was just looking down at. Which I'll make it look like a little bunch of little dragons flying over to attack him.
Excellent.
It's just a reflex saving throw, basically. Well, actually, I guess I do have to hit the square. Because, yeah, I have to roll to hit the square, basically, where I want it. So, let's make an attack roll. Yeah. Let's see, it's range. I'm going to roll that instead. Oh. Okay, there you go. Another 20 to hit the square.
There we go.
Yeah, so it'll need a reflex save.
Right.
Roll another 1d6 too.
He manages to make his reflex save.
Alright, so he'll take 2 damage.
Right. Fortunately,
Zzz.
again, he was the pirate that was already injured. So that is enough to dazzle him and leave him stunned and laying back on the stairs, hovering on the edge of consciousness.
Bunch of little light dragons attack him. Yes, I am. I'm going to move that direction, so up the stairs. I want to actually just kind of go up to about there. I think that's the way to go. Up. I'm going to start again up towards the bottom of the stairs, up a little bit towards this guy.
All
That's
right.
right.
So yeah, you hop down out of the chair and scoot under Ed's chair and between Z and the command chair on the lower bridge and plant a solid foot in the face of the guy on the stairs as you run past him.
Yep.
Because that just seems
No,
like
no.
the thing Flair would do.
Right. And I'll take a little bit of cover against that wall.
All right. Oh, look, he's unconscious. Ed, we're to you. You got 2 unconscious pirates on the deck you're on. Cobalt is facing you and Umbra. Reptile at his side, about to turn on him.
Yeah, I'm gonna point at him. He's the one who wanted to be captain, right? I'm gonna say, cut off the head and fire at him.
All right. Rack-a-rack goes off with an explosion of sound. Striking Cobalt solidly. And leaving him holding his ears, or at least having one hand up to his ears, the other hand finally slides the saber out of its scabbard as he kind of reels back a little bit from the sound, shakes his head. Doing anything else?
That'd be all my actions.
All right. The next pirate to go is the pirate that was flexing his arms at the upper bridge. And he does exactly what you were expecting to do. And he leaps from over that top railing. Let's see if he's skilled enough to land where he wants to land. And you can see his eyes wild as he leaps down and pulls out his axe as he's coming, and catches the back of the chair. And it takes him a moment or two to kind of stumble down to the ground right next to you, which prevents from actually being able to attack you. Umbra, that brings us to you.
Okay.
Two pirates in arm's reach.
Yeah, not where I want them.
No, both armed.
Well, I presume this system has a step to disengage type function.
You may. 5-foot step.
Step. And Cobalt's, what does his disposition look like?
He is reeling from the blast of Strange Ed's pistol. He's got a saber in his hand, and he's looking at Ed. He kind of glanced your direction when you moved, but you can tell he's having a little bit of trouble making out exactly where you are.
Okay. Let's deal with my friend up top. Let's just give her a little light show of little alternate reality where her force barrage goes back against her. Reflex save, please.
Right. Reflex save. Doesn't have a good one, but she rolls well. So she will only take 2 points of damage from that. But that is enough.
One damage.
One? Oh, yeah, one.
Yep.
Either way, it is still enough. She was only just barely on her feet. And you see her go down. She just slumps right back into the chair that she was standing in front of. Very definitely unconscious.
Cool. That's all I got.
All right. Finally, Cobalt, snarling at the audacity of that crazy-haired, bearded human, he takes a step forward towards you, Ed, and lunges at you with the tip of his saber. That is a 12 against your KAC.
That is a miss.
All right. And yeah, his blade goes off to the side. You deftly avoid it. And he snarls under his breath, shakes his head a little bit to clear his hearing. And action shifts back to engineering, and the strange spectral form skittering along the roof kind of continues around this side towards the consoles that you were working on from. And it sends a smack out towards Achilles. Welcome to the evening, JJ. Glad you could join us.
Heck yeah.
Let's see if this strange mystical creature can reach out and tap you with its tentacles. They're very long. They kind of billow out from this thing, flail around the room a little bit. And 17 against your KAC, I believe is a hit.
Yeah, it is. I just had 11.
All right, and it does 5 points of damage to you. So that'll come off your stamina first. And I'm going to get
Okay.
you to make me a reflex save. Reflex or will? Sorry, will save.
All right. I'm looking for it. Sorry.
No worries.
Where's that? I'm sorry. I'm looking at the sheet.
It'll be on the right-hand side towards the top-ish. Either right above or right below your armor class.
Gotcha. Okay. It is. I hold it. There you go.
There we go. All right. And similar to when its tentacle smacked Crumb, you feel this thing kind of try and suck some form of energy out of you, but you manage to bat its tentacle out of the way and keep it from doing any serious damage. That
As
was
I get out of here.
action. Brings us back to the top of the round with the pirate coming down the stairs behind the reptile. That pirate just kind of shoves himself off the wall and leaps at the reptile in a flying tackle, axe in one hand, maniacal eyes bugging out of his head. And that hits the reptile. He knocks him back into the chair, and they end up falling down on the ground in a little bit of a tussle. And they start throwing blows at each other. That will bring us to Achilles. You are standing on what used to be your guys' drift engine. It has been replaced with something that looks like kind of a floating orb surrounded by 3 interconnected rings that are not moving at the moment, but they were when this thing appeared. You guys have crashed, and all the power in the ship is out. You can see Crumb has a flare burning away on the floor over here, and there's another one in the wall over here. Lighting up the engine room in very stark light. And skittering along the roof or billowing along the roof is this weird gaseous clockwork looking weird creature, for lack of a better term. What would you like to do? Oh, you're muted, JJ.
Yep, that explains it. So I take a look at the room. I don't want to get hit again, so I am going to perform a trick attack using a scout gun on the night hacker.
Make me a stealth check.
And
16 will not be a good enough to successfully do the trick attack, but you still get to make your regular attack.
okay.
All right, and your shot does hit it. Up here, make sure it doesn't have any fancy resistances. It does not. How many hit points does this thing have? Not as many as it used to. It lets out a almost inhuman sound. It sounds like a scream played at the wrong speed, and not the same wrong speed, but it's like it speeds up and slows down, and it just kind of warbles across the entire room and echoes through the ship. Now, even you guys on the bridge hear this muted, muffled, weird shrieking sound coming from engineering. And Bob backs out into the hallway. Says, I ain't having none of that. Crumb, what are you doing? You're around the corner of the console. You do have some cover from it.
Most of my grenades have like a 10 to 15 foot range, so I'll move right around to this corner. Like this is elevated, right? Or,
Yeah.
I'll hide around here. I point to Zev to like just get into the hall because he's now like a non-combatant, right?
Yep. He scooters back.
Just get out of here. You're just in the way.
Sorry. Crab walks back out into the hall.
Its body is gaseous. Is the gears the same, or do they look more physical?
They look kind of physical. They look like clockwork gears.
I'll try another grenade, but I'll try a sticky grenade.
Okay. You toss that one, and it lands exactly where you want it to. You ping it right up into the corner of the wall where this thing is. And in the instant between the grenade hitting the wall and you hearing the ping as its casing starts to erupt and explode in this expanding silly string concoction of a sticky bomb, this thing billows outwards, shifts forward, recoalesces, and ends up over here. It's like time stopped for a moment as your grenade was going off, and this thing kind of shifted, moved, got out of the way, and then the rest of the grenade finished exploding.
Okay, as my turn, I was like, oh man, what the hell is this thing?
Flair, the pirate that you are dashing up on. Let's see if he actually noticed you dashing up the stairs. Yeah, he turns to swing his pistol at you. And
Wait,
takes
mate,
a while.
you don't want to do that. You know I'll be a better captain than the one you got. At least much nicer. Shoot at him.
Make me a bluff check.
Yeah, right.
He says, "Not likely, runt." Takes a wild shot at you. 16 against your EAC.
Yeah, he blasted me.
Will do 2 points of fire damage as the laser shot sears your shoulder.
Oh,
That
mate,
is his
never
action.
heard.
He wasn't moving. What are you doing, my friend, in retaliation?
You ever see that old show? I think it was like Thrones of Game or Game of Thrones or something, and there's this lady on it, and she'd be like, Draconis! And then I'll have the dragons attack him from my spell. So, not much damage, but he'll need a reflex save. Oh, I guess I need to roll attack. Hold on a second.
Reflex save.
Oh.
17, so he'll take 1.
And so,
Stand where you are.
yeah, I will move. Well, yeah, I'll stay where I'm at.
Strange Ed. Where to you?
Alright, I'm in a bad way here because I'm in melee range of 2 pirates, and I
Same.
have a pointy stick duct taped to the end of my barrel, but not likely to do much damage with that. I'm either going to take an attack of opportunity, firing or moving. I'm going to at least try and get a better position here. I'm going to move and take cover behind Z there. And
Right.
that will likely provoke.
Attempt an acrobatics check to try and get through that little cluster fudge of people without taking any attacks.
I can attempt it.
Looks good.
It's not bad.
You
All
deftly
right.
move out of the way. Z kind of shoulders forward to get you behind her to keep that pirate from getting too close. I'll get
In
rid of
that
it.
case,
You don't need his token there.
then I will shoot at their leader again.
All right. He will have soft cover from the pirate in front of him. 15 will not be enough. You just barely missed the pirate in front of him, who ducks out of the way at the last second. But Cobalt seems to have been ready for that shot. As he saw you move, and he kind of ducked in and down a little bit to get a little bit closer to Umbra. And the pirate next to him takes a swing at Z. And that will be a hit. She catches it on her arm. You see sparks flying from the cyber arm, catching the blade of the axe, sliding along it a little bit. She lets out a little bit of a grunt, and takes a swing back at him with her other fist. It is a miss, but he ducks out of the way. Umbra, what are you doing? Cobalt kind of glanced over at Ed as he moved out of the way, but he's being wary of you.
Is it possible to stealthily move past these guys?
You could attempt to do so.
Sure.
Where would you like to move to?
No, terrible number. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Something like that, I guess.
All right. You duck down and use the dim lighting and the shadows to the best of your ability. The pirate captain Cobalt takes a swing with his sword as you
Minute, please.
dash, rolls the miss percentage, and his blade just sweeps through shadow, missing you very closely, but missing nonetheless.
Oh, he's not even close. It's a 50% miss chance.
Hmm?
Chaos stuff. If it's in dim light, it's 50% miss chance. Always.
Yeah, he only rolled a 20, so
Yep.
sucks to be him.
Sucks to be him.
Doing anything else?
Yes. Let's have some shadowy flames attack both these guys. Reflex saves from both of them.
Ooh.
That's rolling great.
Cobalt makes his save. Reels back a little bit, bringing his arms up to protect himself from the flash and the heat. And the pirate also rolls well. These guys are rocking their saves. 18s and 19s, so they each take a point of damage. Good news is they didn't take any less damage from the
Yeah.
Yay. Think positive.
Positively, it can't get any worse. I'm done.
All right. Cobalt reels back from that blast of fire. He says, you're a tricksy one. Which it is. Looks like I might be needing a new one, he says, glancing up at Montecita, passed out on the chair. The other woman who was up on the top deck of the bridge has actually rushed over to Montecita. You can see him, or see her checking the Lashinta for wounds and wrapping some bandages around them quickly.
Your bitch got on my bad side.
You might fit in well with my boys, lass. Let me get this stubborn Vesk out of our way. We can negotiate. He takes a swing at the reptile. His blade connects, sends the reptile reeling, a spray of blood across the wall. And the reptile kind of gets back up from where he's been tussling with the other pirate. Snarls up at Cobalt, bares his claws, and says, "All right, time for a real fight." Back in engineering, the creature floating up along the roof slides over this direction and just kind of slinks itself back up into the top corner of the roof. Seems to be, its gaze seems to be switching between each of you, one after the other, as if it's kind of sizing you up, deciding exactly what it wants to do. Back to the top of the round, the pirate tussling with the reptile. Tries to give him a bit of a kick from where he is on the ground. Use the hand axe attack roll. That will be a miss. Yeah, the reptile blocks that easily. And he lashes out with a couple of blows. Yeah, there's the reptile. Takes a swing at the guy on the ground, but that guy just kind of drops himself right back against the stairs and out of the way of the blow. The reptile's foot connects with the stair, leaves a little bit of a dent in it. And then he takes his other swing towards Cobalt, which connects, sending Cobalt reeling back a couple of feet, kind of up onto the console a bit. And you can see a tooth go flying out of his mouth as he turns his gaze back towards the reptile and says, "Ah, real fight it is." Achilles. Creature is sizing you up, keeping an eye on where each of you are. What would you like to do?
Yeah, you need it again.
Yep. Sorry. I'm gonna
It's okay.
continue the. Gonna continue my assault. I think. Is he in the corner back here that I can't really see? Am I still able to attack him from there?
Yes. Sorry, he's inside the ship. He's not outside or anything.
Right.
He's just kind of
Okay.
up on the roof. It's about 20 feet high, so probably about 15 feet over
Gotcha.
your head and 15 feet over.
Gotcha. All right, cool. So I'll do a stealth check to do my shrink attack here. All right.
Not good enough. He's watching.
Yeah, good enough. Watching. And we'll go for the scout gun again.
Unfortunately, another miss. As this thing seems to shift and move very suddenly. And when it's sitting one spot, it's the energy and gas of it seems to flow very, very slowly, almost like in slow motion. But then when it moves, it's like it's suddenly in fast forward.
Tricky, slippery little bugger.
Crumb. To you.
How do you hit something like this? It seems to dodge almost anything we try to throw at it. I'll try and throw my last grenade, and I'll try it as another shock grenade since it's right near the engine.
Okay.
Another terrible roll.
That's all right. You only need the 5, so that is.
Oh,
good.
plus 1 from my weapon focus.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. So you definitely hit. What damage does a shock grenade?
1d8.
There you go. Two.
Not great.
Not spectacular, but Could be worse. The electricity definitely seems to affect it. Its form kind of jitters and shifts and crackles with energy, and it lets out that weird undulating screamish thing again, that sound that it makes. And again, you guys up on the bridge hear this weird muffled warbling scream. Moving it on from, stand put, keeping under cover.
I'll stay where I am. I let know everyone on comms. It seems this thing's affected by energy. And how's the engine look? Like, I remember it almost jump-started last time. Does it move again this time?
It shifts just a little bit. This grenade didn't so much land right next to it as it kind of impacted the wall a little bit higher up. But the energy does kind of jolt it a little bit.
Seems this engine needs like an energy kickstart. And this is where I need my turn.
All right. And the reptile next to you, Flare. He's just going to take another step up, back himself up against that door, level his pistol at you, and fire another shot. And that is definitely a hit with a 20, but it only does 1 point damage. Again, just kind of searing you a little bit as the shot just barely catches you.
All right. Let's see.
That will bring us to you.
Yep. I will look to my left and see the girl trying to bandage up their mage or the wizard or whatever, the one that's throwing fireballs and all that crap at us. I will send my like, "Oi, lady, not cool," and I'll send my target at her with that, and the one's down, so the mage can't get back up. She's bandaging her. Do that. See if I can hit the square right there. Not working. I will. Barely. But yeah, it's enough to hit it. So then I'll almost 6 for damage. And then, well, she's down, but. So I guess whatever. However that takes her resolve or whatever it is, she's trying to get her back up. So she can't get her up, I guess.
Okay. No worries.
Yep. And then I want to pull out my. He pulls out a like metallic looking drumstick that has like flames wrapped around it, and I will fight a step forward to this guy with a baton in hand.
He scrunches himself back up a little bit against the door. Ed, to you, my friend. What are we doing?
I will say, get him, reptile! And, reptile, a little bonus there, going toe to toe with, Cobalt, I think he said his name is.
Cobalt.
Yeah, I'm going to shoot at the pirate that is kind of between me and him, because he's in my way.
Okay. That will be a hit. I believe between you and Z, that knocks him out. He goes down, kind of stunned momentarily from the sonic blast, and then his eyes just kind of roll back into his head, and he collapses back onto the floor. right. Oh, look at that. He's unconscious. Umbra, your turn.
No deal, Captain. As I summon forth a bazillion needles to inhale him. We don't need to roll anything. I will take a full action to unleash this hell upon him.
All right.
Oh, God. Well, it'd be great if I could roll. That'll be 3 damage to him and bleeding 2 for 3 rounds.
All right. The needles punch into him, and you can see blood starting to well up in various places. And he kind of staggers back, leans back against the console, looks around, says, Your little one was right after all. To the victor go the spoils. Stand down, lads. Let these ones have her. Let's give them what they need and get us all out of here. He gives you a grin, Umbra, and a somewhat lascivious wink, and slams his saber home into its scabbard, and says, Navralas, Montecito looks fine. I'm the one what's bleeding now. And the doctor up here kind of staggers back from Flair's shot towards them, looks around and says, Aye, Captain. And gets a hand on her shoulder bag and heads down the stairs to where the captain is. The pirate in front of you, Flair, looks down at the captain, sees his friends on the floor, looks around at the situation, and puts his gun back in its holster. He says, enough, little one. Captain spoke. But he's still eyeing you carefully.
Quite the loyalty you got there. Still thinking you're making the wrong choice. You could follow me. Also,
Well, in the engine room,
I was gonna hit you in the dick with this baton if you didn't keep fighting.
you can see his offhand moved down in a slightly guarding position around his waist. Meanwhile, in the engine room, the billowing spectre-ish creature kind of floats forward along the roof to about here and lashes out with that tentacle again. This time he's going to send it at the little itty-bitty fur ball that keeps throwing grenades at him. It's like it doesn't like you, Crumb. And that is a 25 to hit ya, which does 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
And that drops me down to 2 HP.
You are not doing very well. That tentacle is solid like steel.
It basically hit me with like gear brass knuckles or something.
you guys can hear Zev shouting over the comms for help engineering. Cobalt nods to the guys on the stairs and by the door, and they start moving. The guy that was by the reptile kind of scrambles up to his feet, dashes up the stairs, and opens the door and gets out into the hall. The other fellow by the doors kind of looks down at you, Flair, and says, "Come on, little guy." Slams the door panel. Doesn't open the door, but he gets his hands into it and starts shoving it sideways, as this one seems to be solidly blocked a little bit, whereas the other guy shoved open fairly easily. And what are you guys gonna do? That'll bring us to Achilles in the engine room.
So I say this will be brothers too close for a pistol, so it's time to bring out the cane sword and see if I can get this guy. So I'm gonna try for the trick attack again.
Okay.
And roll for stealth.
Not enough.
Alright. And I'm too far to attack a melee then, correct?
Yeah.
Alright, so then I'm forced to shoot him with my shotgun. And take a shot.
Go. Leave one of those hits. Yes, you tag it. Where are we? There we are. And that shot punches through the center of the thing. At which point its form just seems to unravel. The gaseous form that was holding it together just seems to dissipate into nothing. And that high, low-pitched, warbling scream seems to die out and fade with it, leaving you guys in a dark, very dimly lit room. Well, not really. Sorry. You still have the flares going. But leaving you standing, staring at a very inert, not drift engine. And it is this point, at 10 to 9, that we are going to wrap for the evening. So I would like to thank everybody for joining us. Again, give the channel a like and a subscribe if you want to continue listening to the adventures of the Drifters and the Drift Crashers Adventure Path. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a great night.
Cheers.
Night, everybody.